Happiness studies as a field focuses on much more than positive psychology. In fact, it focuses on much more than psychology. It looks at what philosophers had to say about the good life, and it looks at theology and neuroscience and history and economics and film and literature. What we decided to do at the Happiness Studies Academy is salvage happiness. In other words, help people understand the true, the deep, the real meaning of a happy life. Precisely to talk about the fact that a happy life is about pleasure, and it's also about a sense of meaning and purpose in life. And it's about relationships and generosity and giving. And it's about intellectual well-being. It's about learning. And if we, through education, teach people that happiness is about pleasure, and happiness is about meaning, and it's about relationships, and it's about physical health, and it's about intellectual development. When people truly understand that all these elements make up the concept of happiness, then they will be more likely to pursue that, more likely to attain it, more likely to help others attain it, more likely to create a better world. Hello, everyone, and welcome, wherever you are and whenever you are. So we have people on our call from Canada and Poland and across the United States, from Edinburgh, Scotland, from Colombia, Mexico, UK, India. Yep, you're up late, that's okay. And the whole world. Welcome all. It's so wonderful to be here with you. What an exciting program we have for you today. The way it's going to work is that I'll talk for a couple of minutes, introduce our esteemed guest. Then I will have a few questions for him, and then we'll open it up for questions. I'll speak for about 30 minutes, or we'll chat for 30 minutes, and then the rest of the time will be for your questions. To ask questions, what you need to do is go below and on React and simply raise your hand like this. A few words about, and we have translation today into Spanish and Vietnamese. So if you want to go to interpretation, you go below, click on interpretation and your preferred language. At the Happiness Studies Academy, for those of you who are here with us for the first time, we offer numerous programs. Our most popular program is our certificate in happiness studies. We have students from around 100 countries studying with us for a year and for a lifetime, because once you are, I always tell those who join us, once you join us, you're with us for life, unless you don't want to, and then you can leave. We don't force anyone. But it's a one-year-long program. We have the world's first master's degree in happiness studies that runs with Centenary University, and in the fall of 2025, so less than a year from now, we are hoping to launch the world's first PhD in happiness studies. We have many other programs, retreats, all targeted towards two things. How can you become happier, and how can you help others do the same? Our guest today is a very special guest, period, and very special to me because he's also my teacher, my mentor, and my role model. So a few words about Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. So he's a Thinkers 50 Hall of Fame member, and he's the only 2 times Thinkers 50 #1 leadership thinker in the world. He's also been recognized as the world's #1 executive coach. He's coached over 200 CEOs around the world, including 5 US CEOs
Hello.
of he's a New York Times best-selling author. He's 55 books, including What Got You Here Won't Get You There and Triggers. These are 2 books that we assign as part of our master's program in happiness studies. His books have sold millions of copies in 35 languages around the world. The Earned Life is his latest work, is his 4th New York Times bestseller. Marshall's achievements include the Lifetime Award for Teaching and the Legends of Leadership Award. His career and philosophy are explored in the documentary The Earned Life and the New Yorker profile The Better Boss. My mentor, my teacher, my role model, Marshall Goldsmith. It is such an honor to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm honored to be here to be able to talk with you.
Marshall, I have many questions. I'm going to dive right into it. And then half an hour from now, we'll open it up for questions from the audience. So here is my first question. So the title of this meeting, and also I know your mission, is to help successful leaders achieve positive, lasting change in behavior. Now, if they're already so successful, why do they need to change? And if they are already so successful, how do you help them become more successful?
All right, one at a time. The first thing is, why do they need to change? I have a question. How many of the top 10 tennis players in the world have a coach? Why do they have a coach?
Say no more.
Yeah. Why do they have a coach?
10 out of 10.
Yeah, why do they have a coach? Well, they want to get better. And usually in the quote Bob Dylan, he who is not busy being born is busy dying. Well, usually if you're not trying to get better, guess what's going to happen? You're probably just going to go in the opposite direction. So my clients are very, very successful people who want to change. And one of the things, even before we get into questions, how do I motivate people that don't want to change? And the answer is I don't. I'm not really in the motivation, inspiration business. To imply that the people I coach needed to be motivated or inspired to work would be an insult to them. I'm not really in the motivation business or inspiration business. I only work with very successful people who want to get better and who are willing to do the work. One of my great coaching clients, who you may have met before, is Alan Mulally. Alan was the CEO of the Ford Motor Company, ranked #1 CEO of America. His stock went from 101 to 1840. But back to your point, he had a 97% approval rating from every employee in the union company. Think of this. A CEO of the Ford Motor Company with a 97% approval rating from the United Auto Workers? That does not happen, right? So anyway, I worked with Alan for years. So I talked to Alan. I said, Alan, of all the people I've ever coached, you improved the most. Yet I spent the least amount of time coaching you, and you were great to start with. Now, what should I learn from you about coaching? I'm going to share a message that can help all your people have a happier life and be better coaches. He taught me 2 things. He said, lesson 1, your biggest challenge as a coach is called customer selection. You work with the right people, dedicated, hardworking people that care. Your process will always work. You work with people who don't care, your process will never work. And he said, never make coaching about yourself and your ego and how smart you think you are. Make it about the great people you work with and how proud you are of them. Well, that changed my life. It totally changed my life. And that was such a great lesson for me. And as you mentioned, I got ranked #1 executive coach in the world for years. Why? Nobody knows I'm a good coach. People who watch me coach people, how does somebody know I'm a good coach or not? And I'm sure I have a degree in math. I do not deserve to be ranked #1 coach in the world for year after year after year. I mean, I'm not that egotistical. That's sort of ridiculous. I'm probably not the best coach in the world. I can say one thing, though, with certainty. I have the best clients in the world. I get the best clients in the world. You get the best clients in the world. Guess what? You're going to look like a good coach. You're going to look like a good coach. President of the World Bank says, every decision I ever made, I thought about you. CEO of Pfizer says, thank you for helping me cure COVID. Alan says, thank you for helping me save Ford. Hubert Jolie says, thank you for helping me save Best Buy. Francis Hesselman, thank you for helping me be a great leader. Look, I'm not that great. I can tell you one thing, they are. And to me,
Mm.
I've learned 100 times from them what they learned from me.
So it seems like you're looking for the right client. How does one become that right client that you would take?
Well, I'm very clear on what I do and do not do. First, I only work to help people change positive change in behavior. For example, if someone has the wrong strategy, I just help them get there faster. If
Mm.
they're going in the wrong direction, I just speed them along. But I can't turn the wrong direction into the right direction. I don't know enough about this stuff. I never coach an integrity problem. Somebody has an integrity problem, fire them. Don't coach them. I only work with people whose issue is behavioral. They want to change and they're willing to try. So what do? Imagine you're the future CEO and I'm coaching you. Everyone I coach is either typically a CEO or a future CEO. I would say, Mr. Future CEO, if I work with you, you're going to do the following. You're going to get confidential feedback from everyone around you. You and your manager, the CEO, are going to agree who are your key stakeholders, and you're going to get confidential feedback from all of these key stakeholders. You're going to pick important things you want to improve that comes from, by the way, your heart. If you don't want to do it, don't bother with me. And the CEO is going to agree on these things. And you're going to follow up on a regular basis. You're going to apologize for your mistakes publicly. You're going to apologize for mistakes. You're going to practice something called feed forward, which I've taught you about, where you ask for input and listen and say thank you. And you're going to do it over and over again. We're going to measure your improvement. Now, if you don't want to do it, it's okay. Don't. That's okay. You don't have to do this. I don't care. Don't. Like you
Yeah,
said, if you don't want to be a member of our family, don't.
yeah,
I'm not forcing anybody. You're not forcing anybody to be a member of your family for life. They want to do it, do it. Don't want to do it, it's okay. Don't. Well, I'm the
yeah.
same way with coaching. You want to do it? Here's what I do.
So, every Thursday we meet for a webinar. And
Yes.
one of the questions that was brought up today was around being humble or
Yeah.
humility. And it sounds like, if you say about your clients, they want to change and they're willing to try,
Right.
that requires some form of humility to say, I don't know it all. I want to improve, help me. And that sounds like a very important trait and characteristic of great leaders, great change agents. Say more about that, please.
Well, the people I coach, there are three variables that lead to their success. The first one is humility. Look, they have to publicly admit they have things to improve, publicly talk about it, publicly ask for ideas. And by the way, if you're a CEO and you do this with top 12 people, everyone in the company knows what you're working on. In fact,
Mm.
many of the CEOs I coach, they make videos and talk about it. Look, read my book, The Earned Life. You mentioned that. How many CEOs in that book endorsed the book and talked about trying to improve? It's hardly a secret, right? Some coaches say, I can't mention the names of my clients. Hey, you read the book? I can mention all the names of my clients. Every one of them, I can mention their names. Why? These are not sick people that I'm trying to fix. These are great people. I'm just trying to help get a little better.
Wow.
Yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of here. Well, we all need to get help. Well, the first variable you've already mentioned is humility. That's deal one. You got to stand up and say, I'm not perfect. I want to get better. Please help me. Number two is you have to have courage. It takes courage to do this stuff. It's
Mm.
hard. It's hard to look in the mirror. I'm going to share some techniques with people today that are phenomenally easy to understand and phenomenally difficult to do. And then the third thing, it takes discipline. You have to work. You got to do the day-to-day follow up, the day-to-day work. Nobody gets better because they read a book or they go to a course or they listen to an inspirational speech. You have to work. And if you don't work, you're probably not going to change.
Yeah. Humility, courage, and discipline. Um, you mentioned in passing your approach to coaching, the stakeholder. Now, I went through your coaching course, life-changing. Um, can you say something about the stakeholder approach? Because it's very different from your regular generic approach to
Oh,
coaching.
totally different. And by this, I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's not a contest. It's different. The traditional ICF coach does not express an opinion. One. Number two, you can't talk about who your clients are. And in my idea, they don't give advice. My coaching process, as you know, is all about getting advice from everybody. Not only does the coach give you advice, all your stakeholders give you advice. The whole thing is getting advice. So basically, let's say you want to do a better job of listening to Mary. Okay, well, one approach is I sit there and ask you questions about listening in your life and who are you as a human being. Or number two, you actually ask Mary a question. How can I be a better listener?
Mm.
I'm a proponent of option two. How can I, hey Mary, I need to be a better listener. Help me. How can I do this? So in stakeholder coaching, one, you get confidential feedback. I interview everyone around each of my clients. All the stakeholders, average is 18, by the way. The smallest I've ever done is 40, and the least I've ever done is 8. My average is about 18, and there's nothing magic about the number. I interview as many people as they tell me they want me to interview. You want me to do 20? I'll do 20. You want me to do 40, 40, 8, 8. Just pick a number. Why? I want it to come from them, not me. So I interview everybody and ask a few questions. Question one, I say, what's this person do well? Take notes. What's this person need to do better? Take notes. What situations bring out the best in this person? Take notes. Which situations bring out the worst in this person? Take notes. And finally, I say any suggestions at all, not just about leadership, but anything, health, life, how to be a better leader, how to be a happier person, anything for this person. Give me any ideas you have. I write them all down. I put together a summary report. And these summary reports are hard to read. I mean, they are painful. People are not used to this stuff. They're not used to hearing the truth. I write these very long summary reports, right? And my clients will tell you, this is not the barrel of monkeys here. I mean, future CEO Walmart, he said, my first meeting with Marshall Goldsmith, it made my trip to the dentist to get a root canal operation seem like a happy moment in my life. Well, his feedback really wasn't that bad, but still, it's not easy to hear this stuff. And by the way, they're not used to it. The higher up you go, they don't get honest feedback. They're not used to this stuff. And so it can be very humbling to get such feedback. And you know who David Chang is, the famous chef? Yeah, he's a member of our group. He wrote a book called Eat a Peach. And in his book, he talks about me being his coach and getting feedback from me. He's hilarious. He talks about it. He said, I gave him the good feedback. And this is a New York Times best-selling book, so it's hardly a secret. He says, Marshall gave me this good feedback, and it kept going on and on. I thought, wow, I'm so special. I must have nothing to improve. I guess he's now going to tell me just, no, he's doing this. Then he said he started the negative feedback, and he went on and on and on. Oh, but you know what? Nobody died. He got better. Life is good.
Yeah. But that's part of the process where they get feedback from stakeholders. And again, people working with them, for them, family members. And then what?
Well, then they pick what they want to get better at. So, for example, I want to be a better listener or recognition. They only pick, a couple, 3 things. I don't give them 50 things to improve. They're going to change 50 things anyway, right? Then if you are, say, the CEO, the board needs to approve it. I don't want to work with you for a year and you get better. And then the board says, well, he got better at the wrong thing. If you're not the CEO approves it. So I got to sign off on everything. They all agree. And then I say, look, for years, I didn't get paid if my clients to get better. I said, here's a contract here. If this person gets better at this stuff as judged by these people, is worth this money, yes or no? And by the way, if the answer is no, don't hire me. It's okay. If the answer is yes, you can't lose. He gets better, pay me. You don't get better, it's free. Pretty hard to argue.
Yeah. So a few years ago, you decided to devote your life to giving away everything that you know to as many people as possible. Now, I know that because I know it, and also I'm a direct beneficiary of that decision of yours.
Right.
So why did you decide to do it, and how are you doing it?
Well, first, what inspired this? Aisha Bursell, you've probably met. Ayşe Brasil did a wonderful program called Design the Life You Love. She's from Turkey. She's one of the world's top designers. I go to the program. As part of the program, she said, "Who are your heroes?" My heroes are very kind and generous people who are nice teachers. Paul Hersey, Ken Blanchard, Warren Bennis, Peter Drucker, Al Mulally, Francis Hesselbein. Just wonderful human beings. And they never charged me any money. They never charged me any money. Buddha's my hero. You know what? I use Buddhist material all the time. I called him up. I said, Buddha, I use your stuff all the time. Should I send you commissions? Buddha said, it's cool. You do whatever you want, right? Buddha's not charging me any money here. None of these people charge me money. So I decided, she said, you should be like these heroes. I decided to just give everything away to as much as I can. So I made a little selfie video and put it on LinkedIn. A very primitive video, really. I'm thinking, oh, 100 people would apply. No, I'll adopt 15. In this case, I was a little bit off. 18,000 people applied to be adopted. So now I've adopted about 400 people. So the program is called 100 Coaches. And the idea of the program, just give things away. And if people need help, here are the rules. No money, no guilt, no obligations. 3 rules, strict rules though. No money, no guilt, no obligation. You don't have to do anything. And the idea is you need help, you ask. People give it to you, say thank you. They don't want to give it to you, they can't give it to you, it's okay. They don't have to. And there's no obligation of payback. There's no obligation. If you give me something, I have to give you something back. The idea is pay it forward.
Yeah.
You give me something, I help another person.
Yeah. And it's working. Again, as a member of this group, the amount of help that we give and receive is remarkable. And again, no guilt, no obligation.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the Buddha, whom you talk to often. So you are a philosophical Buddhist.
Yes, I am.
How has the Buddhist philosophy impacted your work?
Much of my work is about Buddhist philosophy. You mentioned my book, The Earned Life. That's basically a Buddhist philosophy book. I'd say 80% of the book is Buddhist philosophy. So now there are many schools of Buddhist thought. So one other thing, even before we go further, Paul Hersey, my former mentor and one of my heroes, taught me something great. He said, never get into definitional arguments, semantic arguments. There are all kinds of ways you can define a word. And your definition may be different than mine. It doesn't mean it's wrong. I don't get into an argument about how do you define leadership or happiness or peace or anything else. Just say, what does it mean to you? You define it the way, and then at least the person knows what you're talking about. If the other person says I have a different definition, that's fine. You're not in a contest here. You don't have to prove they're wrong. Just say, in this case, you have a different definition. Words have many definitions. It's perfectly acceptable. So Buddhist is one of the words with many definitions. So when someone says they're Buddhist, it tells you almost nothing. Buddha said, only do what I teach that works in the context of your own life. Well, given that, the number of interpretations of Buddhism are probably even greater than the differences in Christianity. But someone says they're Buddhist, it doesn't tell you much. So let me describe my school of Buddhism,
Please.
which again, I'm not saying it's the best school or the only school. It certainly isn't. Here's my Buddhist philosophy. Buddha was brought up, and I don't know there even was a real Buddha, but the metaphorical Buddha was brought up rich. His father was a king, and he got a message. You'll be happy when you get more. More, more, more. The whole focus was more. Well, that's nice. And then Buddha's living in a bubble, protected from life, only sees beauty. 3 times he sneaks outside. Was the first thing he learns? First trip, people get old. Oh, old. Not so good. Trip 2, people get sick. Ooh, worse. Trip 3, people die. Ooh, old, sick, and die. All that more stuff, not so much. Still get old, sick, and die. So he went out in the woods and he tried something different called less, less, less. He starved himself, tried to live off of nothing. You know what he learned? That didn't work either. And finally, he had a great realization. You can never find peace and happiness with more. And you can never find peace and happiness with less. There's only one thing you can find peace and happiness with, what you have, only one time now, and only one place here. That's it.
Mm.
Now, for everybody listening, I'm going to give them some bonus knowledge. Are you ready, all you listeners out there? Bonus knowledge for you. You did not know you were going to find the exact location of nirvana on this Zoom call. You are. I'm going to tell you exactly where is nirvana on this Zoom call. It's wherever you are listening to some old bald guy talk right now. That's it. Welcome to nirvana. It's not out there someplace. No, it's in here.
Mm.
Anyway, that's my
You know,
school of Buddhism.
it's lovely. It reminds me of John Kabat-Zinn's book, "Wherever you go, there you are."
Right.
So learning to celebrate the present moment.
Right.
I remember receiving an email that you sent out to the MG100 community about a new toy, quote unquote, that you found, the AI bot. And you wrote in that email, if I recall correctly, that after 3 months, you felt that 75% of the answers were as good as you would give them, whereas today about 100% are better. So, so
Well,
again, I know there was some jest there,
well,
but you've made
actually,
some.
let's see if I can make this actually not that much jest. There's a lot of truth to it, and it's going to be available in multiple languages. Yeah,
So this is
it's been a fascinating project. Fascinating project because what happens, I'm very, very fortunate because I'm blessed to have people paying for this project. And since I have people paying for it, I am very, very lucky that they're paying for this. Let me just describe the project first. Uh, I want to give away everything I know to as many people as I can for free. Now, I have the world's best security system. You cannot steal anything I do. It's impossible to steal anything I do. What? Can't steal what somebody gives you. So all you people listening, all my material, you may copy, share, download, duplicate, modify. You don't like parts of it? Modify it. Put your name on it. I don't care. I don't care. It's all free anyway. And look, I didn't invent all this stuff. Look, Buddha, I certainly didn't invent Buddhism, right? So, this stuff is all free. So my feeling is, just do whatever you want to do with my stuff. So then what happens is for years, I tried to figure out how to give things away. I mean, for years, with, by the way, 20 years of complete and utter failure. I tried things like interactive videos and all these clunky boxes. And I mean, fail, fail, fail. It's not until the last couple of 3 years that's been able to do this. There's a wonderful company called Fractal Analytics. Now, anybody listening from India, in India, guru just means teacher in Hindi. Well, these two guys that are the founders, I'm the guru. Now, what does that mean? I'm their teacher. And in Hindu philosophy, a teacher is a big deal. So they want to give back to the teacher. Well, they're kind enough. I have 8 engineers from India working on this thing. They are kind enough to just donate this stuff to me. And so I've been very, very fortunate to make this happen. Had to have 4 things. One, you have to have a lot of content. If you don't have a lot of content, this stuff's not going to work. So you definitely do need content because without content, it's not that interesting. And not only do you need content, you also need followers because let's say you give away everything you know, but nobody cares. It's kind of a waste of time, right? So somebody's got to care. Let me see about this. Here you go. Happiness is an inside job. Don't expect the world to make you happy. That's a recipe for disappointment. The key is to take responsibility for your own happiness. Here are a few suggestions. First, it goes on and on.
Wow.
Now, everybody listening, I'm going to tell you exactly how to use this. It's not complicated. Just go to my name, marshallgoldsmith.ai. That's all you have to do. Just go on your little computer, marshallgoldsmith.ai, and then put the button that says Ask Marshall. You can start asking the questions. After it answers 3 or 4, it's going to get your email address only because that way it'll remember your previous questions, but it's all free. Now, one thing I'm also proud about this, it's really free and it's not a trick. See, most people, when they give you something, it's a trick. Well, yeah, this is free, but if you pay a little extra, you get to go to the Happy Club. Or you pay a little more over here, you get to go to a special league, right? This is actually free. It's not a trick. Now, one thing I'm proud of, you're a member of 100 Coaches. Anybody ask you to pay for anything?
No. And no guilt, no obligation.
And no trick.
Yeah.
There's no trick to this. Yeah, I don't make any money off this. Nobody does. It's free.
Yeah.
So I'm getting something better than money, though. Meaning in life. I'm 75. Yeah, I'm 75. What's that worth? Worth more than money to me. So let me just give you a couple of insights on this. One is the progress in the last 6 months has been amazing. So I've been doing this now a couple of years, but the last 6 months, this has gone through the roof. My daughter said, and by the way, if you go to marshallgoldsmith.ai, you can ask it this question. How is your coaching related to utilitarian philosophy? It's kind of a deep question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what utilitarian philosophy is, or how's your coaching related to Buddhist philosophy or related to much of anything? I don't even know what utilitarian philosophy is. It studies utilitarian philosophy. It studies my coaching. It knows me. I've fed it 3 million words already. And it said, how would Marshall Goldsmith answer this question? And it answers it just like I would answer it. By the way, in 5 seconds, and soon to be in many languages. And soon to be in many languages. Right now it's in 4 or 5, but it's Chinese, Hindi. It's coming. So, I'm very, very blessed to be able to do this. And again, I've got some very generous people paying for this. And so I'm just very, very fortunate. So, and for me, it's been so much fun. The other thing is, on a personal note, it's cool. Let's face the fact. On the coolometer scale, it's off the charts. It is off the charts on the coolometer scale. Look, I'm a good guy, but we all have our little quirks too. So I like to be cool. Some young guy comes to me and says, well, old man, do you know anything about AI? I go, well, not too much. I don't know very much, but my little friend here knows a lot. Let's ask my friend.
Marshall, so I don't know, maybe 100 years from now, we could have a conversation, but it's just the AI has my AI will call your AI.
Well, right. and also my AI is going to be video as well. So you're going to see some bald guy in a green t-shirt, right? By the way, how many times you see me have had on a green t-shirt? Every time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was wearing the same clothes.
What your favorite color is. Yeah. Marshall, you talk about, you mentioned a few times how fortunate you are and how much you're getting out of, of this project. In the Happiness Studies Academy, we talk about life's ultimate currency.
Right.
Life's ultimate currency, not dollars and cents, not accolades or prestige. It's happiness. And what provides happiness? This notion of giving, of being connected to so many people, making a difference, which is what this is doing day in and day out. Even when you're asleep, it still works. It never sleeps.
Well, so far it's been asked 95,000 questions, and hopefully some of you people listening, you wanted to ask me questions. And I asked my little friend question. I got a great idea. Anyone listening, go to Marshall Goldsmith AI, ask it a question. Then later, when you have me, ask me the same question. I'm embarrassed to say it will probably be better than me.
So that's marshallgoldsmith.ai.
And Marshall has 2 L's. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So final question, and then we'll open it up for your questions. If you want to ask a question, just, again, go below. You can put your hand up right now, and we'll call on you.
Okay.
Final question, Marshall. This is a general one that, our community obviously is very interested in.
Now at the
So what
end, can you
advice?
save just a couple minutes for me at the end? Because I have a final coaching for everybody. I like to save till the end.
Absolutely, we'll do
Okay,
that.
good. What's your final question then?
So the final question is, we want advice. How do you feel that what you have learned can help us all live a happier life?
Couple of things. One, you have, again, back to definitions, a kind of broader definition of happiness than I typically use. So I'm going to define what I talk about. Again, not right or wrong, just different. It's the same stuff, but I just break it up into categories a little bit more. So basically, what do you need to have a good life? Well, one, take care of your health. If you don't take care of your health, the rest of it kind of goes downhill. Two, as you've already mentioned, you need to have great relationships with people. And Dr. Robert Waldinger, have you met him? He's also in our
I
group.
have,
I
for
love
sure.
that guy. Talk about a great guy. I just love him. He's Dr. Bob, such a nice guy. Well, he talks about the importance of relationships and well-being, critically important. So, take care of your health, have good relationships with people, very, very important. And then assuming that, and you need typically money, you need kind of some money, like a middle class or above income, but money is nobody I work with, money is an issue in happiness. No, no, I do not ever work with one person. I've never worked with a person in my life where more money is going to make them more or less happy. Never.
Mhm.
So money's not going to make you happy, but a little bit is good. You need enough to eat and, all that stuff. Starvation is not fun. Then on the other hand, assuming you have enough money that you had a middle class life and assuming that good relationships and healthy, what matters? Three things. One, you need a sense of purpose or higher aspiration. Why am I doing this? I mean, everybody works hard. I work hard. Why? Why am I doing this? You need a reason why. Two, then you need to achieve. I mean, you're an achiever. You're going to achieve stuff. You're not going to sit there. What are you going to play crappy golf with old men at the country club? You're not going to do that. You can't. So you need some form of achievement that is connected to that. And then number three, you need to enjoy the process of life itself. You need to be engaged and enjoy the process of life. And, basically, if you're doing what you love and you're achieving something that's meaningful to you and it's connected to a higher purpose, you won.
Mhm.
That's about it. Assuming that the other stuff is there, you basically just won the game of life. Now, maybe there's more to life than that, but I haven't figured out what it is. That's about it.
So you need the basic health, of course, relationships, and then purpose, achievement, and engagement.
About it. And
Mhm.
engagement is joy in the process as well.
Yes, engagement
Yeah,
with the process. I'm thinking back to the work of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi on flow,
right,
on which he calls meditation in action.
right.
He was a Buddhist of sort as well, one of the
Yeah,
fathers of positive psychology.
right.
Wow, Marshall, I have so many more questions, and I'm going to curb my enthusiasm and hand it over to Eunice.
Hi,
Hello, Eunice.
hi. And in fact, this is in many ways, I'm sure for a lot of people, a dream come true to have two of our favorite people on one screen. And I get the opportunity to ask you a question as well. So I remember, I think, one of the statements that you said hit me, like hard, like a brick. I'm not in the business of motivation. Um, um, uh, I started being in the business of motivation, a trainer, and then moved to coaching, which
Yes,
was in true sense an aha moment for me. And
yes.
I was recalling two instances.
Hmm.
One, when you spoke of giving it away and helping people pay it forward.
Right,
I remember once I took this decision that money will never be the only factor which will be a yes or no to anybody. So I said, if you don't have the money, no problem. Let's meet. I'll see how I can make a difference. But there was this one instance where I met this person. We had a good coaching session. Um, and post that, we walk out of the place and she asked me address of a mall because she wanted to go shopping. And my ego, oh, it was there. I was upset that you didn't have money for transformation, but you have money for shopping. And I didn't say anything. I took it to my ego, never met the person again. mistake. Another time,
Stop. You want some free coaching? For you.
yes,
Let's
yes,
forget all this theory crap. All right, you sure? Here it
yes.
comes. Breathe. Breathing. Breathe. Do your hand like this. Hand. Ah. Forgive that other person for being who they are. Now, I'm going to give you advice and you're going to say thank you. You're not going to argue with me. You're going to say thank you. Don't prove I'm wrong. Forgive the other person for being who they are. You haven't done this yet. And forgive yourself for expecting them to be somebody else.
I forgive her and thank you. In fact, my question also to you was, as a coach, someone who reads a lot about Stoicism and Buddhism, how do we handle our ego? Because sometimes when you meet people, I know expectations also can be the enemy. So how do we keep our ego under check?
Well, now whose ego are we talking about? Are you talking about theirs or yours?
Mine. Because I know with the dichotomy of control, I can't control anybody else, but I can control my actions. I can control my thoughts.
Very good. The first thing is when you don't get paid, if you don't get results, that gets rid of a lot of ego. Because if you're so smart, why just spend a year and a half working for somebody and didn't get paid? Now, I mentioned these great case studies. I also coached the guys ranked worst CEO in America one year. I worked with him for a year and a half. Guess what happened after a year and a half? He was still the worst CEO in America. Probably got worse than he was before I met him. He went backwards. What was the problem? Not his ego, my ego. My ego. I thought I'm going to save people. Now, raise your right hand, repeat after me. Ready? My name is not Jesus Christ.
My name is not Jesus Christ.
Highly unlikely you're going to save anybody. Get over that. That's your ego talk. When you get into saving people, that's your own ego talking there. You're probably not going to save anybody. They don't care. I tell my clients, it's got to come from your heart, not my heart. It's your life, not my life. So, yeah, I think the best thing is anytime you look, I almost never get angry. I actually got frustrated a little bit myself today. I got a little miffy myself today. Very unlikely for me, but I did it today. But anytime I get angry, you know what I say? Look in that damn mirror. Where's the problem? As many blessings I have, if I'm upset about something, somebody's got a problem. Whose problem is it? Now, I went to Mali in Africa in 1984 or 1985, watched a bunch of people starve to death. And I got a picture in my house of a long line of kids, and I'm down kneeling on the ground by some woman, and she's measuring their arms. And if the arms are too big, well, they don't get any food. They're not hungry enough. If the arms are too little, they don't get any food. They're going to die anyway. Arms in the middle, they get food. Every day I'm at home, I look at that picture.
Wow.
Little reminder.
Yeah.
Little reminder.
It goes back to humility.
Well, I get upset and angry. I'm looking in the mirror. What do I got to be upset about? What have I got to be angry about? What have I got to be self-righteous about? There's one person who's got a problem. You know, his name is me. Let's fix this guy. So I think, look, you're off to a good start. You've identified the biggest source of problem. My biggest failure in coaching. I'll tell you where to look to find my failure of coaching. I found one place I can look and find my failure of coaching every time in one location. I have to look one place in the mirror. I look in the mirror, there's a problem. So anytime you start getting angry, upset, look in the mirror. You're looking at the problem. Thank you.
Thank you. And when the world's best coach says, looking in the mirror, I'm the problem, I definitely need to spend the entire night in front of the mirror. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eunice. Wow. The exercise, Marshall, that you recommended and that I learned from you about receiving feed forward from people, and you're not saying, oh, that's a great suggestion or I disagree. All you say is thank you. And it is so powerful. And I've seen it, I've used it in my, in online classes, actually just last week, as part of the MA program, we used it. And I use it when I'm with, 100 people in the room.
Right.
And they receive feedback or feed forward from one another. Thank you. That's it.
Just say thank you. And you know what? Buddha said, only do what I teach works for you. So let's say you give me an idea. Okay, thank you. Maybe it doesn't work for me. So maybe it works for somebody else. Maybe it doesn't work at all. You're trying to help me anyway. You're giving me a gift. So he gives you a gift. What do you say? Thank you. Don't say stinky gift, stupid gift. I don't like your gift. Just say thank you.
Antonio.
Thank you, Tal. And hello, everyone, and greetings from Eternal Rome in Italy. I would love to ask Dr. Goldsmith a question related to the development side of leadership. But
Okay.
first of all, let me express my gratitude to Tal for organizing such a wonderful, amazing webinars, and also to Dr. Goldsmith for sharing his wisdom and time with us. Thank you so much. I deeply mean it.
Marshall, please. Marshall.
Okay. Thank you, Marshall. So my question is simple. During the last 25 years, the concept of coaching leadership or leaders as coach has become very, very popular. Now, I don't want to enter in semantics, but you, as being the number one executive coach, as Tal mentioned, you have gone beyond this concept, developing the stakeholder-centered leadership. So my question is, according to your experience, which are the barriers for a leader to activate positive change, in particular when it comes to sustainable and positive practices, apart from ego and lack of humility? There are other barriers, and how to overcome? Thank you.
Well, very good question. The first thing is, everybody's issue is not behavioral. So the first thing, is this issue truly behavioral? For example, I got a call from a pharmaceutical company. We want you to coach Dr. X. I said, great, what's his problem? They said, he's not updated on recent medical technology. I said, neither am I. I can't make a bad doctor a good doctor, right? I can't fix this guy's problem. I can't make a bad engineer a good engineer. I don't know anything about corporate strategy. I don't know anything about business. I know nothing about business particularly. I mean, they send me the annual report. I usually just throw it away. I don't know anything about business. I mean, I can't be an expert on Walmart and the World Bank and Ford and the Rockefeller Foundation and the Mayo Clinic. They didn't know about all this stuff, so I don't even try. So I work with people. One, it has to be behavioral. Two, they have to be given a chance. That's an important variable. See, a lot of times what is called coaching, it's a thinly disguised trick. It's like, well, this guy's really a jerk and we want to get rid of him, but let's say we got him a coach. Then we can say, see, we tried, we got him a coach and he's still getting fired. You didn't have a chance to start with. The company has to give you a fair chance. And so it needs to be behavioral. You got to try and you got to be given a fair chance. Now, why is it so hard to do? People are busy. One of the reasons, people are busy. They had a million things going on in their life beside this stuff. Look, I'm going to share something. I'll share, remind me to share the daily question process somewhere along the line. But I'll share a process called daily questions. It takes 3 minutes a day. It's going to help you get better at almost anything, and half the people quit in 2 weeks. It's hard to do. By the way, anybody that says this stuff's easy to do that I teach, daily questions, you think it's easy to do? If you tell me it's not, that's easy to do, you have never done it before. You've never done it. It's not easy to do. It's hard. Look, people ask me, do I have a coach? I've had someone call me on the phone or talk to me almost every day for 27 years to try to help me. Why? My name is Marshall. I am too cowardly and undisciplined to do any of this stuff by myself. I need help. I need help. It's okay. I don't think I'm better than my clients. I'm not some kind of a god here. I screw up every day. Every day I screw up today. I screwed up before this call. I screw up every day. I need help. Now, there's a common myth out there about getting your act together. Nobody's got their act together. Over COVID, my friend Mark Thompson and I spent, and for our book, The Earned Life, we spent 600 hours with 60 ungodly achievers. You know what? They don't have their act together. Every week, people are crying. They get kids with drug problems, parents with Alzheimer's, they get divorced. They're humans. They act like assholes. We all do. That's not going to stop. Every day you start over.
Mhm.
New me, new me, new me. So back to this stuff. Look, I used to teach this stuff. I got this research called Leadership as a Contact Sport. So you want a copy of it, send me an email, marshall@marshallgoldsmith.com. Leadership as a Contact Sport. It shows you do the stuff I teach, you get better. I used to say, see, I did this study and a year later, they became better leaders. I don't even say that anymore. That's actually not true. You know what I say now? They did this and a year later, it was clear they were better leaders that year.
Mm.
That year. I don't know they became better leaders overall or as a human being. They probably didn't. If they didn't keep doing the stuff, they probably didn't. It's like some workout guy said, look, he was out of shape and a year later he's in shape. That doesn't mean he's going to be in shape 2 years later. So basically, why is this stuff so hard? Hey, it's hard for all of us. It is not just hard for them. It is hard for me. It is hard for you. There's no human being this stuff's easy for. It's hard to look in a mirror. It's hard. It's hard to have humility. You talk about humility. It's hard to have humility. And it's really hard to have the discipline to do the work. So back to me having a coach, courage, humility, and discipline. The only positive variable I have of the three is humility. I'm humble enough to know I need help. I don't have the courage to do it by myself, and I don't have the discipline, but at least I have the humility to admit that I don't have the courage and discipline. So I hope that was helpful.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Marshall. Are there things that you have found your coachees or you can do to enhance discipline, to be more disciplined?
Yeah, very easy. Get help.
An accountability buddy of sort?
Anything. Any help is better than no help. Yeah, look at all training and development. 98% of all training and development, there's no measurement, there's no follow-up, there's no proof it does any good, right? Well, get help. Get some help. And, look, how many people on the call, you got something in your mind, you say, I'm going to be getting to that pretty soon. For 20 years, you've been avoiding doing something you know you should do. How many of us have little S stuff? You're not going to do it. Face reality. Get some help, or give it up, or get some help. One or the other. You're not going to do it. Today is going to be different than the last 20 years, or tomorrow it's not going to be different. Get help.
It reminds me of interesting research by two researchers, Wing and Jeffrey, who showed that if we, following an intervention program, lifestyle intervention program, have someone to work with, help, an accountability buddy, we are 200% more likely to actually enjoy change a year later.
I'm surprised it's only 200%. Yeah.
Yeah. Pablo, the floor is yours.
Hello, Tao. It's been so many time we've not together. And hello, Marshall. I'm very, very glad and pleased to be with both of you. I have to be humble to be with you here. I have two questions. I try to be
one
quick.
at a time. One at a time.
Oh, okay. The first is this. When you told us, Marshall, about the philosopher Buddhist, that when Buddha saw that people get old, sick, and die, and then you, in the end, told us, never find happiness with more and less, but with you have now and here at the present moment. My question is this one. What kind of questions or what do you have to think to really change if something now and here perhaps is not really good? This is my question.
A couple of thoughts on that. One, I think you don't quite understand what I said.
Okay.
What I said is completely not Western. And it is very difficult for anyone with a Western background to even vaguely understand what I said. You can understand the words, but the meaning behind what I said is completely antithetical to entire Western culture.
Mm.
The whole Western culture is I'll be happy.
The whole
when.
Western culture is I'll be happy when.
The whole I'll get a little anyway, was I getting an echo for a second? Anyway, the whole Western culture is I'll be happy when. When I get the money, status, BMW, whatever, I will be happy when. In the Western art form, now tell me if you've seen this before. There's an art form, you may have seen it, I don't know it. Maybe more than once. It sounds like this. There is a person. No, the person is sad. No, they spend money. Oh, they buy a product. Oh, and become happy. This is called a commercial. Have you ever seen one of those before? How many
Too
times?
many times.
Thousands. Now back to your good question. The reality is two places to look for wisdom. One is from Hindu philosophy. The whole essence of the Bhagavad Gita is your question. Here's a person, a situation in the Bhagavad Gita. They got two choices, bad and worse. And you know what the answer is from Krishna? Pick bad, make peace, and live with it. Sometimes in life we have two choices. One is called bad and the other is worse. You know what? Learn to love bad. There's not always a good choice. The second thing is the way you asked your question, and I think for many of the listeners right now, you're asking yourself, but how can I maintain happiness? How can I continue this good spirit or whatever? The reality is you can't. And you're asking the wrong question. You see, the question is not how do I be happy forever? The question is a simple idea. There's only 1 second in time you need to learn happiness and peace. 1 second. You know what that is? Now. And you're worried about how can I maintain this? Well, you already lost the point.
Wow.
The other
Thank
thing
you
in
for
my
that.
book, The Earned Life, you're not going to achieve your way to happiness. Common misconception of happiness and achievement are independent variables. Achieve to achieve. Achievement is great. Be happy to be happy. But you're not going to achieve your way to happiness. If achievement would make you happy, those 60 people I talk to on Zoom calls every week over COVID would all just be jumping up and down and cheering every day. They have all achieved more than is imaginable to a normal human being. Some days they're happy and some days they're miserable. Achievements are going to make it.
And yet in our culture, the two are connected because most people believe once I get that achievement, once I attain this, once I get to that peak, then I'll be happy. I call it the arrival fallacy.
Why wouldn't they believe that? Why wouldn't anyone believe that? You've heard that day after day after day after day, thousands of times you've heard it. Why wouldn't you believe it? That's all you ever hear.
Exactly. Thank you, Pablo. We'll move on to Christina.
Okay, again from Italy. Ciao, 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 Tal. Ciao, Marshall. It's an honor to be here. Well, Tal, you already made my question that was about discipline, because I think I'm quite disciplined, but it's a struggle every day. So I just wanted to ask Marshall, how was he able to give himself some discipline in his life? I mean, now at this point of his life, he can turn back and say what really helped you to, okay, asking for help.
Number one, you're probably grossly overestimating me.
Well, at least I overestimate you and not myself.
I'm really not that special. So you're probably grossly overestimating me, number one. But number two, look, get help. Get over your ego. willpower is grossly over-exaggerated. I don't have that much willpower. You don't have that much willpower. All that crap you've been telling yourself you're supposed to have done, you haven't done yet. If you had willpower, you would have done it. Face it, we're just humans here. We're stumbling around through life. We don't know what's going on. Every day we start over. It's okay. It's okay. Now, can you bring her back again? I want more coaching for her. I can't see her face now. Ah, there you are. Okay, ready? More coaching for you. I give you ideas. You say thank you.
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Breathe. Breathe. Hand. Do the hand. Hand. Forgive yourself for being a human. Forgive yourself for being a human. It's okay.
Thank you, Marshall.
Okay.
Marshall, one of the techniques that have been very helpful for me, and I know for many other people, is to start the day with reminders and specifically with questions.
Right.
What questions do you ask yourself when
Well,
you
every
wake
day I
up?
practice something called a daily question process. Anybody want a copy of a bunch of my questions, send me an email, I'll send them all to you. But what's important is not my questions anyway, it's your questions. I'm going to talk about the process first. I'll talk about 6 questions I recommend for everybody. The key, though, is people need to write their own questions. Why? They need to come from your heart, not my heart. So what works for me might not work for you. It's okay. The process does work, though. I believe in the process. So, for example, one of the questions for me might be, did I do my best to avoid trying to prove I was right when it wasn't worth it? I don't see too many zeros on my scorecard. Now, let's say you have a PhD. Oh, have you ever tried to prove how smart you are too much? No, how right you are too much. Oh, a little bit. How about this one? How many angry or destructive comments did I make about people yesterday? I don't see enough zeros there either. I don't want other people stabbing me in the back. Why am I stabbing other people in the back? Why am I doing that every day? How many steps did I take, or push-ups, or sit-ups, or exercises, or did I say do something nice for my wife, or my son, or my daughter, or my grandkids? Just questions every day about life. My friend Jim Moore would tell you this process saved his life. It didn't kind of save his life. It did save his life. Wasn't one of his questions? Are you currently updated on your physical exam? If I ask a group a question and they respond, is it possible you could see their answers?
Yes.
I'm going to ask a group a question. Ready?
Go to chat. Yeah.
One of his daily questions was, are you currently updated on your physical exam? He said no the first 90 days he did this. After 90 days, he said, this is ridiculous. I got this stupid exam, or quit asking. He got the stupid exam. The doctor said he had cancer. The doctor said, well, you're going to be fine, but if you'd waited 7 more months, you'd have been dead. He's a chief learning officer of 3 multi-billion-dollar companies. He knew he was supposed to get a physical exam, just didn't do it. Okay, here's my question to the group. Give me a yes or no answer. Have you ever avoided a physical exam before and told yourself, I'm going to get the exam after I get in shape and begin my healthy food diet? How many of you have ever avoided a physical exam and told yourself, I'm going to get one later when I'm in better shape? Yes or no? Yes, I have done this, or no, I haven't.
We're getting yes and no's. We're getting 1C, which is yes. Yes and no's are coming through.
What percentage yes and no's? Roughly.
Roughly around 50, 50-50.
Yeah. So half the people on this call have avoided getting a physical exam because you deluded yourself into believing you'd get one after you got in shape, including me, by the way. I've done this. You don't have to yes or no, but how many of us have started, how many of you have noticed a flurry of dental flossing activity the 3 days before you go into the dentist office? Yeah, you're flossing away, blood is running out of your mouth, and dentist says, have you been flossing? Oh, yeah, I was flossing. We do this stuff all the time, right? We do this stuff all the time. Who are we kidding? I was teaching at the University of Michigan. I gave this example about the doctor. I said, how many of you ever avoided a physical exam and told yourself you're going to get it after you get in shape? And then I said, A guy raised his hand. I said, "Sir, did you trick the doctor with that strategy?" You know what he said? "I am the doctor." So now it's hard to do this stuff. Now I'm going to give you 6 questions for everybody. Are you ready? 6 questions every day, and they all begin with the phrase, "Did I do my best to?" Did I do my best to? Now, my daughter Kelly taught me that. Kelly, I'm very proud of her. She has a PhD. She was on Survivor 3. If any of you Americans saw the TV show Survivor, she was on the 3rd season in Africa. She tried to be a movie star. That didn't work out for her. So she went back to school. She got a PhD from Yale, which she said is easier than being a movie star. And so now she's an endowed chair professor at Vanderbilt. So I'm very proud of her. So Kelly and I are working together on this stuff. And she says, "You know, Dad, ask people this question, did I do my best to?" Because then you can't blame the environment. It's called active question. Did I do my best to? 6 questions every day, and they all begin, did I do my best to? Number 1, every day, did I do my best to set clear goals? I can tell you what your goals are, but set some goal. 2, did I do my best to make progress toward achieving the goals? 3, did I do my best to find meaning? 4, did I do my best to be happy? 5, did I do my best to build positive relationship? And 6, did I do my best to be fully engaged? 6 simple questions every day. Well, the research is pretty amazing. You do this every day, guess what? 34% of the people after a certain amount of time said I got better at everything. 67% said I got better on 4 items. 91% said I got better on 1. Almost nobody gets worse. Why? Every day you look in the mirror. This is hard to do. Why is it hard? That little phrase, did I do my best to? Why is that hard? You write the question. I'll give you the hardest question to evaluate yourself on every day, the hardest question. Number 1, you write the question. You can't blame the idiot that wrote the question. Number 2, you know it's important. Number 3, you know how to do it. And number 4, all you have to do to get a high score is try. You don't have to succeed. You just have to try.
Just do your best.
Why is that the hardest question? Nobody to blame. You wrote the question. You know it's important. You know how to do it, and you didn't even try. Pretty much every day, I fail at least one question that I wrote the question. I know it's important. I knew how to do it, and I didn't even try. You think that's easy to do day after day? Send me an email in a year or 2 after you've tried it and tell me how easy it is.
Wow. Thank you for that. Manuel. Manuel, can you unmute yourself, please?
Now, wait a minute. I get to sing now.
Yeah.
This is a song. This is a song of our generation. Are you ready? Unmute yourself. If you don't unmute yourself, ain't nobody gonna give a good cahoot.
Okay,
Unmute
ya está.
yourself.
Thank you.
He got your message, Marshall.
I have the control with my life. I need to have new forms to take actions for control my well-being in the life.
Okay.
When I have the control on my life, I have a good happiness.
Yes.
Else, I need to have intervention in my life and create a form for action for the environment. In this moment, I am leader. I am leader to have new actions to best the communication with my people.
Yes.
When I have communication with the people have new form to trade with the environment.
Yes.
When I have a good life, the people have a good life.
Right.
Because there are a new system in the environment.
Yes.
I am goal well-being. Else I have happiness for all my life because I control my action, my life. Which is your option, or which is your advice for achieve it in whole world? Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'm going to try to answer the question. Tal, correct me if I misunderstood the question. But my understanding is it's a question about how can I control myself so I can maintain happiness. Was that correct?
Exactly. The relationship between control and
Yes,
control of my life and happiness.
Great question. Number one, when will you successfully achieve this goal? Answer, never. None of us are ever going to achieve this goal. So the first thing is get off this nonsense of I'm going to start living this life where I never screw up, I never get angry, and always maintain control. That's not going to happen. By the way, everybody listening, there's only one book that has the same ending. It's called And They Lived Happily Ever After. Ooh, and they lived happily. That would be called a fairy tale. Now, the first thing is you're never going to get to happy land where you control all this stuff all the time. How about being perfect? Let go of being perfect. Let's just go for a little bit better here. How about perfect? I'm not perfect. I thought you perfect over there. You perfect? No. I shouldn't answer for you. You perfect?
I am not. I had a lot of
Nobody's
errors in my
perfect.
life
Yeah,
because
let go of that being perfect. Look,
I am not perfect.
every day start over, and every day realize I'm going to screw up sometime. Every day I measure, did I avoid speaking when angry, out of control? I measure that every day. I'm not perfect. I screwed up today. What, an hour before this phone call, I screwed up. It's okay. I'm not bad. I'm pretty good. I screw up every now and again. You're going to screw up too. It's okay. Just start measuring every day, right? And by the way, don't make excuses. Because if you blame the environment, by the way, you're never going to get better. The environment's not making you do anything. There's only one person making you do anything. That's this person here. So every day you measure, did I maintain control today? 1 to 10. Every day you start measuring, day after day after day after day. You're not going to get perfect. You're not going to get perfect. I just screwed up today myself. I, Marshall Goldsmith, screwed up about an hour before this call. I got upset about some nonsense today. I know the theory. I wrote the book. I can't do this stuff all the time. All right. You know, I've noticed one theme on these calls, though. If I had to pick a problem this group has, it's pretty clear.
Do tell.
Forgive yourself. Let me give you my take on everything I've heard so far. Good people, yes or no? Yes. Good hearts, yes.
Yep.
Want to do good for the world, yes. I think there's one person everybody I've heard from so far has been too hard on. This person. Hey, just make peace with being human out there.
Wow.
You don't have to be superior to people to help people. You have to be better than them to help them. Forget about it. You're not going to get better. You're not better than anybody else. You're not going to be better than anybody else. Just be a human being.
Thank you, Marshall. I'm going to call on Milton.
Good morning. Good morning. Kyle, it's a real pleasure to meet you for the first time. I'm a friend of Centenary's President Dale Caldwell, and he's been chatting you up ever since you became a member there. So it's really great to have an opportunity to kind of speak with you. Yeah. And Marshall, big fan of your books. I've read a bunch of them. I actually share them in my practice. I'm a consultant trainer, so I use a lot of your stuff. So I've been stealing from you for years. So I'm glad that you gave us a free pass because I'm not going to pay you anyhow. But at any rate, my question, I'll joke aside, I think my question may have already been answered, but I'm going to pose it anyway and just see if you have any additional feedback you'd like to give.
Sure.
And that is that, for me, one of my biggest challenges is, for lack of a better way to put it, imposter syndrome.
Okay, good.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's about I end up judging myself, questioning myself, and not putting myself out there because of what's going on inside my head. And I understand that's something that's
Stop breathing.
okay.
Quit saying I do. I want you to repeat after me. I used to do.
Okay.
You do not have an incurable genetic defect. As long as you keep saying, I have this problem, I have this problem, I have this problem, guess what? You're reinforcing the fact that you have this problem. Do not stereotype yourself this way. You do not have an incurable genetic defect. There are people that have had this problem and it went away. You can be one of those people. As long as you say, I have this problem, you're decreasing your own odds on success. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Yeah.
Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you, Marshall. Thank you, Marshall. Thank you, Marshall.
All right, now what's the next? Keep going now.
No, that's really it. Like, I know I end up getting in my own way, right?
Okay,
because
all right, ready? I like this.
I used to.
I got a feeling you're not the only person on this call that has this problem. All right. Now, I wrote a book called What Got You Here Won't You There. That book is about my experience with mega successful people. They do not have this problem, I'll tell you. To be honest, how many people I coach have the imposter syndrome with CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies? That would be close to zero. They think they're just fine. In fact, their problems are what I call overselling. They try to win too much. They try to be right too much. They try to prove how smart they are all the time. That kind of crap, right? Sally Helgeson, my good friend, read that book and said, a lot of the women I work with do not have that problem. They have the opposite problems. Now I'm going to get to you. And I find most humans don't have that problem, or many humans have the opposite problem. It's called underselling, under-promoting yourself, lacking self-confidence. Peter Drucker said, we're here on earth to make a positive difference, not to prove we're smart or right. He also said, every decision is made by the person who has the power to make the decision. Make peace with that. Okay, Tal, I got to influence you. You got the power to make the decision. One word to describe you, customer. One word to describe me, salesperson. Customers don't have to buy, salespeople have to sell. Now let's go back to you. Are you ready? I'm going to ask you some hard questions now, but I think everyone on the call listen to these questions, all right? And, you know, Tal, I'm going to ask everybody to answer a question. Again, can they send a word or two through the... Okay. You're going to have to give me one or two words. Everybody's got to put it one word or the other word. One word, and don't do it until I finish. One word is called oversell. You tend to promote yourself too much, and the world would be better off if you didn't promote yourself so much. You oversell. Second word is undersell. You don't really promote yourself enough. And the world would be better off if you promote yourself a little bit more. Oversell, undersell. Okay, everybody write your oversell, undersell, send it in. Tell me what the scores look like.
Wow, it's not even close. Undersell.
I guessed it. I've worked with thousands of coaches. They chronically undersell. All right, are we ready now? My fine coachee, are you ready? Ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
I'm going to give you some hard coaching. You are ready. I want everyone to listen because this coaching applied to about 90% of the people on this call. Are you ready? Question number one. Back to Peter Drucker's point. If you became more influential, would the world be worse off or better off? Tell the truth. What do you think?
Better off.
I totally agree. You seem like a good guy. And my guess, almost everybody in this call is a good person. Better off. I'm voting better off. Tal, how about you? I'm voting better off. What do you think? Yes or no?
I'll join you.
All right, everybody on the call. Does trying to become more powerful or influential make you feel uncomfortable?
Yes.
Oh, uncomfortable. Oh, it makes you uncomfortable. I bet it makes lots of people uncomfortable. Oh, uncomfortable. All right, here comes the hard part. Are you ready? What is more important to you? Making a positive difference in the world or being comfortable? Get over it. Get over it. What's more important to you? Making a positive difference in the world or being comfortable? You want to be comfortable? Be comfortable. Quit whining because it's painful to try to make a positive difference in the world. Yeah. Get uncomfortable. It's hard for you to get uncomfortable. That's why it's called uncomfortable. Suck it up. What do you thank you, Marshall?
Thank you, Marshall, for poking me in the eye. I appreciate getting poked in the
But, you know, over COVID, my wife could listen to me do these Zoom calls. You know what she said about my clients? Why don't they kill you?
I was going to say that was kind of a full frontal assault, but that's okay. You know,
Yeah,
big
why
I can
don't
deal
they
with it.
kill you? But
Yeah.
by the way, I don't
appreciate
really think they teach my approach in most of the coaching schools. What do you think?
No,
No,
they do not.
not too much.
Yeah. Marshall, we have just a few minutes. Can we take one more question before we get to your summary?
Yes, one more question, then I'll wrap it up.
Yes, please. Miriam.
Thank you. Hi, people. I'm Miriam from Kenya, Nairobi, and I'm very happy that you picked me. So I have three things to say to Marshall.
One at a time.
No, it's not a question. It's just a comment that I practice Hindu, and I understand most of the things he was saying. So that's cool. The second thing was the question was how to look at myself in the mirror, but not go to the extreme and put myself down. So it's good to have accountability, but how do I not become self-critical? And the third thing is, you said we ask for help. I'd love to take the course by HSA, either the certificate or the master's. So I'd like some help.
Good. Well, I can't answer question 3, but let's go back to question 2. Yeah. Now, what was question 2 again? I forgot.
How not to go to the end of the spectrum and put yourself down as you're holding yourself accountable in the mirror. How don't you?
That is so much by far the biggest question I've heard today. All right. Are you ready? Okay. The first thing you got to do is make peace with being human. Quit trying to be perfect. You're not going to get perfect. I'm not perfect. Paul, you perfect over there?
No, not
I'm
yet.
not perfect.
Never.
You're not perfect. I would be willing to bet you're probably as good a person as I am. You seem probably nicer than me. Probably wouldn't give people crap as much as I do on these Zoom calls. Look, none of us are perfect. Now, all right. Do you have someone you love?
Yes.
I have another question. Do you want them to be happy?
Yes.
Here comes the hard coaching. Do you believe in leadership by example?
I do, yes.
You want them to be happy? Guess what? You believe in leadership by example? You go first. You go first. Is that clear?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Miriam. Wow, Marshall. Floor is yours.
Well, I want to finish with my best advice for everybody. Are we all ready? Best coaching advice you're ever going to get. Take a deep breath. Smile. Do your hand like this. All that other crap. Let it go. Let go all that crap, right? All right. I want you to imagine you're 95 years old and you're just getting ready to die. Just getting ready to die. It's all over. Here comes that last breath. Right before you take the last breath, you're given a beautiful gift. The ability to go back in time and talk to the person who's listening to me right now. The ability to help this person be a better leader and have a better life. What advice would that wise 95-year-old you who knows what was important in life, what wasn't, what matters and what doesn't? What advice would that old person have for you that's listening to me right now? Breathe. Whatever you're thinking now, do that. In terms of a performance appraisal, that is the only one that's ever going to matter. That old person says you did the right thing, you did. Made a mistake, you did. You don't have to impress anybody else. Some friends of mine interviewed old people who are facing death. What matters? And I told you you're going to like the first answer. It's pretty simple, 3 words. What advice would you have? 3 words. Be happy now. Not next week, not next month. Not that I'll be happy when I get the money status BMW. The arrival fantasy. I never heard that phrase before. I like it. The arrival. I'll be happy when. Well, just when. What is this when nonsense? Be happy now. Now, you know what some of you are thinking right now? You're thinking, lucky old man. Easy for you to say you got millions of bucks. You've sold 4 million books. You live in a big house. Yeah, you got everything. I tell you one thing I've got, most of you don't have, 75 years old. Average person that I've been talking to today is probably 40. You got something I don't have. It's called 35 years. You want a few million bucks? You want that or the 35 years? Be happy now. Don't look at somebody else and say, I wish what they had. They might be wishing they had what you had. You got something I don't have. A lot of years. Number 2, friends and family. Don't get so busy climbing the ladder of success you forget the people who love you. That's a big mistake. And number 3, you got a dream, go for it. You don't go for it when you're 40. You're not going to when you're 80. Business advice is not much different. Number 1, life is short. Have fun. Last time I checked, we're all going to be equally dead. I've done some new research on this. Don't share it with others. It's not published yet, but my new research indicates I think we're all going to be equally dead here. Be happy now. Number 2, do whatever you can do to help people. The main reason to help people has nothing to do with money or status or getting ahead. The main reason to help people is much deeper. The 95-year-old you is going to be proud of you because you did and disappointed if you don't. You don't believe that's true? Interview any CEO who's retired. They're only proud of the people they helped. The final advice, go for it. World's changing, do what you think is right. May not win, what the heck, at least you tried. Old people, we seldom regret the risks we take and fail. We always regret
Marshall,
the risks we take.
We just lost you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, now we can hear, yes.
And finally, what's my mission in life? As I've grown older and older and older, my mission is getting simpler and simpler and simpler. What is it? Help you have a little better life. If anybody on this call has a little better life based on the last hour and a half, this is a very good use of an hour and a half for me. So thank you for inviting me. You can all do me one favor if you don't mind. I said there's no prize. It's a trick. There is a prize. If you don't mind, go to my website and start asking them some questions. Send me an email at marshall@marshallgoldsmith.com. And by the way, one thing you can do to help me, if there's one thing I said today that helped you, send me an email and say, I really like that. That would be good for me. Make me feel good too. So anyway, look, thank you. I'm honored to know you. You're a great guy. I am proud to call you my honorary son. Now, I got a goal for you. Are you ready? It's going to be a hard goal for you. Are you ready for this goal? My goal for you is that one day, you're a nice old man, some nice young honorary son asks you to be on a show like this.
Marshall, what an honor to spend the last hour and a half in the last few years learning from you, following you. Thank you for doing all that you're doing for our world. It is better for you being in it.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for joining us. And as always, take good care of yourselves and others. Bye-bye.